certain things for autonomous operation that are required, electronic steering controls, electronic traction. Those are being cut into new production lines as well as when we do rebuilds, for example.
Okay, thank you. I yield back, Mr. Garamendi.
I want to thank my colleagues for raising the energetics issue and really honing in on that. Obviously, very, very important. It's an issue that I could have spent time on, but they did a much better job. I do want to go to the readiness of the Army vehicles. An ongoing, an increasing problem. All of the data indicates that it's getting worse, not better. You spoke, General Mohan, a moment ago about some of the things that you're doing. Here's what I think we need, and that is to get down into the weeds with you and look at your data flow and the information that you're gathering over time, the implementation of the various initiatives that you're putting in place, and the success or failure of them. I really think that we have to spend our time and demand of you at least a quarterly report on what's going on. First, what your initiatives are, what their goal is, and then a mechanism to assess the success of those initiatives. I'm not going to put myself in the middle of that effort, other than I want to see the success or failure over time of the specific initiatives that you put in place. You spoke to them a moment ago. Can you do that?
I'd like to add a little bit to, sir, it comes back to the also the harvesting of the data. So we started Weapons System 360 about 18 months ago because we were struggling with the supply chain, and we really couldn't see ourselves. And the capability that has been largely developed by our teams, it continues to advance. And now, because we've placed that in the Army data platform, we are hooking other things to it, adding additional layers to that data. And so in the very near future, we will roll out an application that will integrate in with Next Gen C2, which will change the way that our soldiers do basic maintenance operations. And so when we get better data at that basic level, that will feed into Weapons 360, which will then allow us to make strategic decisions both in the depots with planning of workload, but also with the way that we make decisions about buying or manufacturing our own parts.
What you intend to do is the right thing to do. I believe it's necessary for us to learn precisely what it is you're trying to do and what effect you expect from that action. And then through time, and I'm going quarterly, report to yourself and to us how it's going. In that way, you'll know whether you're on a successful track or not. You're talking a lot about additive manufacturing and all of that. It's the new bright, shiny thing that everybody talks about. And the question is, what are you going to use it for? Is it cheaper, faster, or better than giving, I don't know, Lockheed Martin and BAE a swift kick and say, let's get this done? So anyway, it is the data and the specificity of the data to the goals that you have set. I'm not disagreeing at all with your goals. They're good. You got to come down in the detail, gather the data, report to yourself and to us how it's going, and we'll go from there. There are many, many issues in your, what do you got, 11 different vehicles that you're trying to keep going. I think some of it has to do with attitude. I had an experience over the weekend. We were shipping some cattle. The truck came back, flat tire, last load of the day, and my grandchildren said, we'll deal with that later. And I'm going, you're going to deal with it tonight because we may need this thing tomorrow. Well, we don't know that we need it tomorrow. And so I don't know if they've learned the lesson or not. I haven't had a chance to go back and check my data. So anyway, it flows through the entire system. And included in that is all of the new bright, shiny things that you're dealing with. Are they really useful? I spoke earlier to the question of why. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing it this way or that way? You have the information. It's your job. It's our job to review it and say, I don't think that's working. I want to make a final point, and then I'll turn it back to my colleague. I'm concerned about the quality of the contracts that the Department of Defense is writing with the defense industrial base. We've spent part of this morning looking at some of those contracts and finding that we're being taken to the cleaners. We, the taxpayers, the Department of Defense, military, various places, that the contracts do not serve the purpose for which they are written, but rather serve the purpose of the defense industrial base in its effort to grow or to be profitable, whatever goals they may have. I'm coming to the point where we have absolutely really good people in the various departments that write contracts, but they're not on top of the most recent problems that are found in contracts or able to really get beyond what they have done so many times over many years. And it may very well be in our interest, ours and yours, to bring into the major contracting and quite possibly into some of what you might call minor contracting, a fresh view from a company, a firm, a law firm, whomever. They're working for you. And their task is that that contract carries out the specific goals that you have enunciated as you set in motion a contract. I've found this problem too many times in too many areas. The final 276 pages, none of the rest counts unless we want to do it. So I want to think about that. I want you to think about it. Maybe my colleagues would be interested in it also. But these contracts are written all too often for the benefit of the defense industrial base and not necessarily to protect the goals and the necessity, in this case, the Army and the other departments. With that, I yield back, sir.
Gentleman yields. I recognize myself for questioning. Gentlemen, thank you for being here this afternoon. This is troubling. This is a troubling discussion because our projection of force worldwide requires a level of readiness and mission capability that, according to our own studies and our own determinations, does not measure up, shall we say. And this presents a danger to the world. We are relied upon. It's said that the sun does not set on the responsibilities of the United States military to restore or maintain peace. And our projection of force worldwide requires a level of readiness and mission capability out of our stockpiles and our maintenance and at the unit level that we're not delivering right now. So if this committee has failed in some way, then we accept that responsibility. But we have to take a hard, cold look at this. We're talking about today the organic industrial base, a subset of the larger defense industrial base. We're talking about 23 arsenals, depots, and ammunition plants that manufacture and maintain Army equipment. Now, I'm going to focus my questioning, Lieutenant General Mohan, on maintenance. The organic industrial base, according to the GAO, is antiquated and not sufficient to maintain, and certainly during times of needed surge. The GAO found that the number of overhauls of maintenance depots performed by the Army dropped from 1,278 in fiscal year